Wall jumping as soldier consists of wall climbs and wall shots. Wall climbing simply refers to climbing up a wall vertically. So to do this, you just RJ up and then shoot at the wall about where your feet are. And there's a few things you need to do to make sure you're doing this correctly. Firstly, you need to hold crouch the whole time, and that applies to any time you're RJing off a wall while in midair. If you don't hold crouch, you won't go nearly as far. And specifically for wall climbing, you need to hold W to stay against the wall, otherwise you'll drift away from it, as well as aim a bit to the left rather than straight perpendicular against the wall. And this is because the rocket comes out of the right side of your player model, so you want it directly underneath your player model, and straight perpendicular wouldn't be directly under you, so you have to aim a bit to the left. And you also need to tap D occasionally if you want to go straight up in the air. It's important to note for wall climbs that the aim has to be exact. If it's too low, like in this clip, you won't go as far and eventually slow down. And if your aim is too high, you'll be pushed away from the wall and again won't go nearly as high as the normal wall climb. And wall shots, on the other hand, refers to traveling horizontal distances along the wall. So to do this, you need some initial horizontal speed, which you just get with a normal rocket jump, and then you jump off the wall and that propels you forward. For absolute beginners, I'd recommend trying out a single wall shot. That way you don't need to worry about any of the air strafing. As you can see, I'm not hitting any of my movement keys while I'm doing the wall shot. I am just holding crouch and shooting behind me against the wall. Chaining together wall shots properly is a bit hard for beginners, as it does require air strafing as well as some well-timed mouse flicks. So there's two components to chaining together wall shots. There's doing the actual wall shot, and there's the air strafing immediately after the wall shot. To do the wall shot, you should let go of your movement keys, so no W, A, S, and D, so you should just be holding crouch and shooting the wall. The place where you should aim should be at about your feet, but it does depend a bit on the type of wall shot you want to do. So if you want more horizontal speed, you should aim further behind you. If you want more vertical height but less horizontal speed, you should be aiming more further ahead rather than behind you. So immediately after the wall shot, you need to air strafe back into the wall because the explosion propels you away from it, and you do this by flicking your aimer straight in front of you and then air strafing into the wall. And then from there you can just do another wall shot right after. It does take a bit of practice to get the feel for it, but the individual actions that make up multiple wall shots aren't too complicated. And you can do left wall shots just as well as right wall shots. They won't be weaker or anything. And a lot of people seem to think that left wall shots are harder than right wall, which there should be no reason for. It's just as easy as right walls, except the place where you aim on the wall is slightly different and you're air strafing to the left rather than to the right. Because of the rockets coming out of the right side of the player model with the standard rocket launcher, your aim for left wall shots has to be further behind you relative to right wall shots. But other than that, the mechanics of left wall shots are exactly the same as right wall shots. An important aspect to wall shotting properly is knowing that the optimal place to aim on the wall changes relative to your speed. So the faster you go, the further ahead you should be aiming, but you should still be aiming at about your feet, but just further ahead. And you'll see that on this jump, on Jump Tholos, the further along the wall I get, the faster I go, and the faster I go, the less it seems like I have to air strafe. And that's because the place on the wall that I have to shoot gets further and further in front of me. And the same mechanic applies for left wall shots. The faster you go, the further ahead of your player model you should aim along the wall. And another thing about wall shotting is that there seems to be a limit on how much horizontal speed you can have before you start falling. There just seems to be some moment, I don't know how fast, but it's pretty fast, where you just lose speed and it's impossible to maintain it, and you eventually just fall down. And once you start falling, there's no way to recover from it. That being said, I do think it is possible to wall shot forever, as long as the wall is tall enough and you're gaining vertical height. So to avoid failing at these long wall shot jumps, sometimes it's easiest to tap S occasionally. For instance, this jump on Legion, I've always found easiest to slow down by tapping S, or at these turns, you slow down a bit, which helps make it more consistent. And one final thing to say is that wall shot jumps can really be as hard or as easy as you can imagine. And there's a ton of them in a ton of different jump maps, and so yeah, just a lot of diversity out there.